The video begins in darkness. A hush. The sound of ocean waves gently crashing against something vast. Expensive. Then a flicker. A blurred figure. The outline of a woman. Another figure, taller, older, leans in. Too close. Way too close. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. A timestamp flashes, August. Private yacht. And then, a voice. Crystal clear. Unmistakably her. And him. You'd think this was the setup to a spy thriller or a Netflix drama. But it's not. This is real. This is what Sarah Ferguson just unleashed onto the world. Footage she allegedly held in her personal archives for years, waiting for the right moment, the perfect time to strike. And strike she did. But why? Why now? What could possibly make the Duchess of York, a woman once banished to the outskirts of royal life herself, go full scorched earth on Meghan Markle? Someone who, at least publicly, shared her outsider status? Why would Sarah, of all people, leak video footage that ties Meghan to one of the most controversial men in the royal orbit, Prince Andrew, in a setting so intimate, so questionable, that even Buckingham Palace has gone on silent lockdown? Let's rewind, because the full truth is more explosive than anyone realizes. And it begins not in Montecito, not even in London, but on the glittering waters of the Mediterranean, aboard a yacht so luxurious it's never listed on Google Maps. It was built for discretion. For power. For people like them. That's where it happened. That's where everything began. And that's where Sarah Ferguson's camera started rolling. Yes, you heard that right. Hidden. Strategically placed. Watching. Because while the world was distracted by Meghan's speeches, her podcast deals, her Netflix documentaries, Sarah was building something much bigger. A quiet, calculated archive. One that could end everything. And now, it's open. You're probably thinking, this can't be true. Why would Meghan even be on a yacht with Prince Andrew? Why would Sarah be filming it? And what, exactly, did the camera catch? Well, you're not alone. Even palace insiders didn't believe it, at first. But the moment that footage started circulating behind closed doors, inside PR firms, legal offices, and tabloid newsrooms, everything changed. Staff members resigned. Confidentiality agreements were reviewed. Meghan went silent. Harry reportedly stormed out of their Montecito home. And Sarah? Sarah smiled. You see, this wasn't random. This was precision. But let's be clear, this isn't just about footage. This is about what that footage reveals. It's about alliances behind the scenes. Quiet betrayals. And a scandal so twisted, it might finally explain the royal family's icy silence on Meghan's most explosive claims. Because for years, Meghan has crafted a narrative. The misunderstood Duchess. The outsider who dared to speak out. The American actress who challenged centuries of royal protocol and paid the price. But what if that wasn't the whole story? What if behind the curtain was a very different Meghan? Strategic, bold, and unafraid to get close to those most radioactive to the crown? And what if Sarah, once mocked, ridiculed, discarded by the royal family, decided it was time to flip the script, to show the world that she, too, had receipts? Imagine sitting on something like this for years, knowing the world only saw one version of the truth, while you held the raw, unfiltered footage of what really happened. Imagine the temptation, the power, the vengeance. But Sarah didn't act out of impulse. Not even close. This was personal, deeply personal. Because while Meghan ascended with her designer dresses and Netflix deals, Sarah watched quietly as the crown shifted, the spotlight turned, and old scars reopened. Remember, Sarah was once Meghan, the media darling, the rebel duchess, the woman too wild, too outspoken, too unmanageable for the palace. And she paid the price, exiled, broke, humiliated. So when Meghan started her rise, Sarah watched and waited until Meghan did something unforgivable. According to Palace Whispers, Meghan allegedly attempted to repurpose Sarah's scandal playbook. The toe-sucking tabloid stories, the money mishaps, the royal rebukes. Meghan allegedly spun them, retold them in interviews, hinting that her struggles mirrored Sarah's. And Sarah? She was livid. Insiders say the two women never got along. Courteous in public, yes. But behind the scenes? Frosty at best. Sarah saw Meghan not as a kindred spirit, but as a thief. A woman borrowing her pain, her legacy, her humiliation, and wearing it like a badge of honor. And then came the yacht. The moment Sarah's patience ran out. The moment Meghan made a miscalculation so massive, it would hand Sarah the key to everything. Reports suggest Meghan boarded that yacht under the radar. No press, no photos, just an invite from a powerful Middle Eastern billionaire, one with long-standing ties to both Andrew and certain corners of the entertainment industry. The kind of man who knows how to make problems disappear. Meghan thought she was untouchable. She didn't know Sarah had been tipped off. She didn't know the cameras were already in place. And she definitely didn't know that her daily interactions with Prince Andrew, yes, daily, were being quietly captured. Intimate gestures, inside jokes, the kind of body language that screamed familiarity, if not more. Sarah kept it quiet. She didn't leak it then. She waited. Years passed. Until Meghan's popularity began to crumble. Netflix grew cold. Spotify pulled the plug. Her sister went on record. Her father gave interviews. And suddenly, the woman who once controlled the narrative began to lose grip. That's when Sarah struck. A single encrypted email, one video file, and everything changed. Because while Meghan may have carefully curated her image, Sarah had raw footage. No edits, no scripts, just silent, scandalous truth. But this story isn't just about the footage. It's about what happens after it leaks. Because the fallout didn't just hit Meghan. It hit Prince Andrew. It hit the palace. It hit Harry. And as the public watched with jaws dropped, as forums exploded and hashtags trended, Meghan disappeared from public view for nearly 2 weeks. No Instagram stories. No paparazzi walks. Just silence. Behind the scenes, damage control went into overdrive. Lawyers were called. Phone records were subpoenaed. And Sarah? Sarah kept smiling. So why did she do it? Revenge? Redemption? Royal politics? Or was this her final act of war against a woman who tried to outplay her and failed? The truth may shock you. Because what Sarah leaked is only the beginning. Insiders claim a second video exists, more damning, more intimate, more dangerous. A video Meghan allegedly doesn't know was filmed. A video that could not only destroy her image, but potentially pull Prince Andrew into another legal nightmare. And here's the twist. Sarah isn't done. She's just getting started. And if what we've uncovered is true, Meghan may not be the only royal with secrets buried at sea. What happens when the royal family can no longer protect its own? When footage surfaces that even Buckingham Palace can't deny? And when one duchess decides that silence is no longer an option? Stay with us. Because what comes next will take us into the hidden chambers of royal betrayal, the secret alliances forged on yachts and in back rooms, and the final confrontation between two women who refuse to be erased. One has the footage, the other has the fame, but only one will survive this scandal with her crown intact. And that battle starts now. What kind of woman stares out across the Mediterranean from the edge of a billion-dollar yacht, knowing full well a secret is unfolding below deck? Not just any woman, a duchess, but not the one you're thinking of. Because while Meghan was in the spotlight, flipping her hair for Netflix cameras and podcast microphones, another duchess had taken a very different position behind the scenes. Watching, recording, waiting. That woman, Sarah Ferguson, the once disgraced Duchess of York. Now, the unexpected queen of royal receipts. Let's rewind to the beginning. It wasn't meant to be public. It wasn't meant to be anything. Just a getaway. That's what they all said afterward. Just a few days at sea. A summer yacht escape with high-level guests, no press, no social media, and absolute privacy guaranteed. Except it wasn't. Because Sarah was there. And she didn't come alone. She came with a plan. The invitation had been extended by a Middle Eastern billionaire known for throwing unofficial royal retreats. The kind of man with private chefs, full satellite blackouts, and a fleet of staff trained to say nothing and see everything. He liked royals. They added sparkle, legitimacy, gossip. That summer, he wanted Sarah to bring in some sparkle. And she did. She brought Meghan. But not as a guest. As bait. Now, ask yourself, why would Meghan, already under scrutiny, already disliked by large swaths of the royal family, ever step onto a yacht hosted by the same man who once counted Prince Andrew as a very personal guest? Why? Because she thought she was safe. Because she believed, deep down, that Sarah was just another outcast like her. That they shared history, trauma, exile, She didn't realize that while Sarah had been exiled, she'd also evolved. She didn't realize the Duchess of York wasn't broken, she was building. And she especially didn't realize that someone on board had tipped Sarah off that Meghan and Andrew had already been spotted, alone, on the same yacht weeks before. Yes, this wasn't Meghan's first time aboard. It was just the first time she was being watched. The setup began the moment Sarah accepted the invite. Not publicly, quietly, privately. She negotiated her suite. She chose her deck. And she had her team install 2 discreet, high-definition security cameras hidden inside a decorative mirror and a hollowed-out light fixture. One in Meghan's corridor, one in the main lounge. Nothing illegal, the yacht's security consultant reportedly assured her. Private vessel. No press. No oversight. And all footage stored offline. This wasn't just revenge. This was insurance. So when Meghan arrived, dripping in subtle luxury, a flowy silk dress, minimalist jewelry, oversized sunglasses, Sarah didn't even greet her. She watched her from a monitor. Quiet. Calculating. Observing the way Meghan greeted the host with cheek kisses. The way she scanned the deck, clocked the cameras she could see, and made small talk with crew. She wasn't nervous. She was in her element. Then came Andrew. Now let's pause right there. Because here's the part that shocked even Sarah. The moment Andrew stepped onto the deck, Meghan's entire body language shifted. And it wasn't awkward, or cold, or tense. It was familiar. You could see it in the video. Her shoulders relaxed. She laughed. Not the tight, controlled laugh of a woman maintaining image, but the deep kind. The kind you give to someone you've had inside jokes with for years. Sarah didn't expect that. She thought Meghan might be cordial, polite, maybe even condescending. She didn't expect affection. And that's when everything clicked. Because Sarah, who had spent decades inside the royal machine, knew exactly what that body language meant. There was history. Now the question was, how far back did it go? Meghan had always maintained distance from Andrew publicly. Understandably so. His scandals had made him a pariah. He had been scrubbed from official appearances. Even the palace tiptoed around his name. And yet, here they were. Drinking champagne, sharing olives from the same plate, laughing like old friends. The cameras caught it all. Hours passed. The sun dropped below the horizon. The party moved indoors. Staff members cleared the deck. Guests changed into evening attire. Sarah never left her suite. She stayed perched in front of that monitor like a producer on a live set. And that's when things got interesting. Because in the main salon, bathed in warm, golden lighting, Meghan and Andrew sat together on the same couch. Not touching, not kissing, but close. Too close. And then Meghan whispered something. The footage didn't catch her words, but it caught Andrew's face. He smiled. A real one. And slowly, deliberately, he placed his hand on her knee. Sarah sat bolt upright. This wasn't speculation anymore. This wasn't gossip. This was proof. But here's the twist. Sarah didn't stop the recording. She didn't confront Meghan. She didn't alert the host. She simply pressed record, and then waited. The next morning, Meghan emerged from her suite early. No makeup, loose robe, coffee in hand. The camera caught her sliding a folded note under Andrew's cabin door. Andrew didn't exit his room until nearly noon. And when he did, he was beaming. Now let's get something straight. There is no footage of anything explicit. Nothing illegal. Nothing R-rated. But the implication? The emotional intimacy? Unmistakable. And when you're a royal, implication is more dangerous than proof. Because it can't be denied. It can't be sued out of existence. It simply lingers. And it was that lingering implication that Sarah banked on. Over the next 3 days, Meghan and Andrew repeated the same pattern. Morning coffee, long talks on deck, shared meals, private conversations, disappearances lasting up to an hour at a time. Sarah recorded it all. And no one, not even Meghan, suspected a thing. Or so Sarah thought. Because on the final night aboard, something shifted. A crew member, trusted by Sarah, reported seeing Meghan speaking to the host in hushed tones. They'd been discussing privacy, she said. Meghan seemed tense. The next morning, Sarah's camera in the main lounge had been moved. Just an inch. But enough. Sarah knew someone had found it. She left the yacht that afternoon. No goodbyes. No confrontation. She simply disembarked, took her hard drive, and disappeared. What did she know? Everything. What did she suspect? That Meghan had figured it out. But what she didn't know